head of the Office of Management and Budget inside the White House. Thanks for joining us. So, your father was a rare book dealer. What's the rarest book you have in your library?
Oh, that's a good question. I have a book in my library that goes back to the 1600s, which is one of the first histories of the Jewish people. And that's probably the rarest book I have.
And do you remember him selling a book that was very rare? Do you remember, like, okay, this was the biggest sale Dad ever made?
You know, it wasn't a single item. My father loved books more than he liked selling books. So every time he sold a book, it was like letting something that was very dear to him go. And I think that the truth is he went into the business of selling rare books because he couldn't quite afford to collect them if he didn't have a business.
So do you have the same bug?
My house is full of books. My family is very much a family of that loves books, and I think when I got back to the Office of Management and Budget, they'd forgotten that I actually cared about the typeface on the cover.
That's good. I'll check it out when I see it tomorrow. I'm assuming, we're hoping, that you're pretty good with money. So who does the checkbook and balances the budget in your household?
Well, I will confess, my wife handles our personal checkbook. I keep it in my head, but she keeps it on the computer.
Is that because you're too busy, or she just said, you know what, I'm going to deal with this?
You know, all the years we've been married over 30 years. I think we realized that I intuitively knew what we were doing, and if she didn't keep the checkbook, she might not know what we were doing, and it actually creates a balance where we're both very comfortable that we're taking responsible decisions, not just for today, but for the future. I actually do believe that what you do in your own family and what you do for the national budget have a lot in common.
You are always looking for wasteful spending in the budget. I'm sure that's at least part of what you do when you put it together. What's the biggest item, the most wasteful item you bought personally? You think I never should have bought that?
That's an interesting question. I'm actually pretty disciplined, so I don't have a lot of frivolous things that I've bought over the years.
Not one frivolous thing you look back at and think, oh boy.
I indulge my family when I can afford to with gifts.
You are a veteran of both Capitol Hill, the State Department, and the White House. Mm-hmm. Where's the better cafeteria?
I have to confess that I've been now at the White House for 2 months, and I've eaten sandwiches at my desk for all but 2 days.
So let it be known that the budget director brings his lunch. Is that correct?
I do. Otherwise, I would miss my lunch most days.
So this isn't an economical thing. This is just a nutrition thing.
Well, I do pride myself on being thrifty, but it's just a matter of taste, and I do have a tendency to miss meals if I don't bring my lunch.
A lot of people said to me, you look so much younger than your age, and they want to know what the secret is.
Well, I'm not sure that there's a secret. I've been blessed with a good head of hair. I think that people actually give you a lot of leeway when you still have your hair at 55.
Good genes, but still working in Washington. They say, how does he do that?
You know, I work very hard. I work very long days. I leave the house around 7. I get home 9, 10 o'clock. I'm not very good about doing the exercise that I know is good for me and I should do, and it's the thing I always mean to do more of. I try to eat in a healthy way. I try not to let things get to me on the inside. Perhaps because I've been doing this for so many years, try not to take personally things that come and go. And I think if you're kind of peace with yourself, it gives you a little bit more perspective.
You are an Orthodox Jew, which means that you can't use electrical devices over the weekend, Friday night to sundown Saturday. How does that work in a 24/7 job? Have you ever had to cheat?
Well, it's actually not cheating. If there's a matter of real urgency, it is totally consistent with my religious beliefs to do whatever I need to do to deal with it. The hard part is making that judgment of what's an emergency and what's not, what's really serious. And frankly, the hardest part is saying to yourself that it won't change the outcome if I'm not involved. And I've found that there's an enormous amount of respect, has been from the time I was very young working for Speaker O'Neill to working for 2 presidents, to taking things that are of real importance seriously. And when the phone rings on Saturday, I don't have to wonder whether I need to pick it up. There's no one who calls me frivolously.
So you know automatically you need to pick it up on a Saturday.
And people know where I am. They know how to find me. I'm never out of reach. And I think it says a lot about our country that you can be true to your own beliefs and be available and have a position like the one that I hold.
So you don't ever want to like just look at your BlackBerry or...
Not unless there's something really urgent going on. And if there's a crisis going on, a different set of rules kick in. Just like as if I were a doctor.
Do you remember a time that happened?
Sure. There were times when, if my being unavailable would lead to something happening that might affect people having access to health care or to food that they need to survive, if you're in a budget negotiation, there were times when I had to be at meetings on Saturdays. I will say that when I was in the Clinton administration, it was really a sign of great respect that the congressional leaders made it quite a point to never schedule things on purpose so that I had to be there Friday night or Saturday. And equally, they knew that if there was something unavoidable, I would figure out how to be there, even if it meant taking a long walk.
Right. But you didn't find Joe Lieberman, take walks with him, right?
Well, Joe Lieberman and I have commiserated on these challenges.
I imagine you have. Jacob Lew, thank you so much for letting us get to know you a little.
Thanks, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.